Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Notre Dame fans. Whenever you are tuning in to this week's show, really appreciate you for making us a part of your day. There's a lot of things you could be doing, a lot of different podcasts. If you're, on a drive or walking the dog, whatever the case may be, you have many options. So we're very appreciative of everyone for making us, again, a part of your day. I'm Mike Singer. I run our YouTube recruiting operation over Blue and Gold, and the handsome fella next to me on the screen is Tim Hyde, a former high school, junior college coach in California, and now one of our football analysts at Blue and Gold. Tim, how's everything going on your end, my friend? Excuse me.
I mean, it's Notre Dame playoffs, man. Are you kidding me? It's like it's so funny because it's like, I mean, I feel like it's all we've talked about, right? Is data points and moving up a spot here and there, and then boom, I'm shoveling. We got a foot of snow. I'm shoveling out with the kids on Sunday. Got the show on in my pocket right here, so I could hear everyone complaining. And here we are, man. Are you kidding me? I'm excited as could be. So it's this when it hit. I mean, obviously you knew they were going to have a home game and all that, but just seeing Notre Dame. I mean, we're right there, man. Notre Dame has when I say we, it's the crazy fans that have been dying. It feels like for 85 years for a championship, and we're right there. We're in it. We're in the tourney. I'm excited as high hell. I know everyone else is watching this as well. So it's a great time to be a Notre Dame fan. And dude, Friday, I mean, seriously, I'm sitting here it is Wednesday. I thought the game was this Friday. I'm already so fired up. So I'm like, damn it, we got to wait like 9 more days. Let's go. So let's just get rocking, man. And then I checked out the weather, Mike. It's going to be beautiful, about 25 degrees at kickoff. No rain in the air. So it's going to be nice. Not that it matters. Hell, Indiana's freezing their butt off as well. So who cares?
So we were not able to go live on Tuesday. Tim had something going on. So this is, and Tim wasn't on any of our other programming this week. So this is like Tim's first time to kind of talk about this. You guys have heard me yap about it. So I'm not going to read off the pairings and the seedings and everything, but let's just go to your reaction to the bracket. We're going to dive into specifically Indiana later in the show. But just thoughts on the bracket, where Notre Dame fell, and anything that maybe surprised you.
Well, the biggest surprise is Alabama. It's funny. After everything ended, I posted, they're going to be 7-10. I mean, we talked about this for a month. I think how many Notre Dame fans on the board or on our chat? Oh, Notre Dame can't be 7 or 8. Hell yeah, they can. We kept talking about it for a month. If this happens and that happens, how many times do we say that the loser of the Big Ten is going to get that 5-6, a lock, or 5? Texas was the key. So when they popped up 5, you dive deep into the numbers and all that stuff. Notre Dame's a top 3 football team when you look at the numbers and you look at all the analytics and how they've played and all this stuff. So I was hoping, I'm not going to lie, I was hoping they would get that 5-12. That something would click in and the committee's like, man, it's hard to pass these guys up there ahead of Penn State and Texas in so many categories. But at the end of the day, reality hits. And did you see the ratings, the TV ratings? They're insane for all of the bowl games, even the Boise UNLV game people watched on Friday night. So that
conference championship games,
conference championship games were just skyrocketing ratings, which goes to the cash cow and the committee. It's a bunch of dudes who love college football, right? And a bunch of commissioners and ADs and all these peeps. They don't want to give up that Saturday. It's all day long. They're all mini playoff games, the ratings. It's free money to their conference. All this talk, well, they got to get rid of conference championship games. Mike, they will never get rid of those. They're going to stick at 12. They might go to 14, but even if it's 14, 1 and 2 get a bye. It doesn't really change.
16. It's going to 16.
Yeah. They're not going to do 16. They're not, because I think they're going to.
Is it 14? Whatever is in 2 years. Is it 14?
Well, they haven't. No, all they've done, and Sankey, the SEC commissioner, gave a good interview with Ross Dellinger yesterday. They extended it. I want to say 5 years. No, I think it was 6 years, up to 32. All they extended it 12 teams with an option to 14.
Okay.
That's on the table. But I think with these championship games, they're not going to want to get rid of those. So I was hoping for 5. I can't stand Penn State. The Penn State love out there is insane. But obviously, when you only lose by one score to the number one team in the country, the only undefeated team in the country, and they've been ahead of Notre Dame since this whole damn thing started.
Right.
I mean, reality sets in real quick. And the 7-10 game, I think we called it a week ago, is going to be, if they were 7-10, it'd be them in Indiana.
Okay. So lot to discuss. And later in the show, I have like probably 20 tweets that I've just been saving. I'm like, I want to talk to Tim about these tweets.
I love it.
So we'll do that later in the show. One of them is, what if this was the 14-team playoff this year, what it would look like. So it's like, it's one of those things like, oh yeah, we really need to see Bama and Miami in this field. It's like, sometimes the expansion's not always the answer, but in terms of this, Tim, do you have something you want to add real quick?
No, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, just go to that. I think the excitement. It's like the NCAA tournament. People always bitch when, like one year Notre Dame was 17-12 and they didn't get in the March Madness. Well, you're 17-12. Sorry, you didn't get the 62nd seed. So it's the same thing with football, right? Everyone's complaining about that last spot, which just brings eyeballs to the televisions, man. This is, I bet you when they all sit back, all those ADs and the commissioners and all that are going to be like, man, this is bigger than we thought. Mm-hmm. With the watching and the people just consumed by this college football thing. So seeing, the whole debate, Alabama, SMU, that was the debate for a week. Before that, it was Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina. There's constant debate going on. So that's why I wouldn't be surprised, man, if this thing stays at 12 because of the intrigue and just the games, the TV ratings this year, which is massive for all these Saturday games, the last 6 weeks of the season.
Well, on the YouTube screen, I've had what the 14 would look like, and you get rid of the buys for Boise and Arizona State, and then you just add in Alabama and Miami. That's pretty much the only difference, and it's just based on their rankings, their committee ranking, right? So it's interesting, yeah.
If they're gonna do one change, it's going to be Clemson, who's ranked 17th, getting a bye.
That's the biggest thing, right? That's everyone's complaint, unless you live in Alabama, is not the teams. I think everyone's okay with the teams.
The teams are fine, sure.
The teams are fine. It's the seeding. That was a disaster, and I've talked about this like in pre-realignment in the past few years, when you still have a Texas and Oklahoma in the Big 12 and you still have a Pac-12 that has Oregon and Washington, this would have been better. But in this conference state where it's so SEC Big 10, this was just not it. And you have Miami was,
lost 2 out of 3 to end the season,
just couldn't pull away from really anyone. It seemed like so much of the year. Florida State was abysmal, and you go to the Big 12 is a shell of itself. So yeah, this was not going to be a good, especially when your Mountain West champion is the 3 seed. It gets a bye. That's not what it's supposed to be. So real quick, Tim, you were like wanting the 5. Who do you think is a better football team? I don't want to spend long on this. Clemson or Indiana?
I'll tell you what, man. It's funny. 30 seconds on Clemson. People want to, complain about Alabama, blah, blah, blah. How about Clemson? Clemson played, 10 Power 5s or Power 4 now. So they're 8 in conference, started the season with Georgia, ended with South Carolina. So, I mean, their strength of schedule is insane when you just look at the amount of teams they play compared to Alabama. But, dude, I'm telling you, Indiana's a good football team.
They are.
They are a very good football team. I have watched a handful of their games since Sunday night. I've just been staying up late watching them. I've really – the one game I was totally intrigued about was Michigan Northwestern. Northwestern, that game was 20 – I think it was 27-24 in the fourth quarter. So they were right Northwestern, for crying out loud. One of the worst teams in the country was, battling them for 4 quarters. Indiana's not bad. They got some athletes, dude. Their JMU guys are legit.
Yeah.
Legit. And these are X1 double A signees, Sunbelt, whatever the hell
Can
they
you
are.
answer my question?
They're legit. I say Indiana.
You take Indiana, but it's close.
Indiana's a good football team.
Yeah, but yeah, it's close. Like you could make an argument for Clemson. Like it.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. I think.
Yeah.
I think that game could be a 23.
And then obviously who you would face in the quarters is a lot different between Georgia and Arizona State. But
yes,
there's not the easiest path for someone to get to the semis is Penn State with SMU.
Yes.
Who has love them 11-2, first time in the power conference. But you look at their schedule and it is nothing to write home about. Same with Penn State, honestly, and then you get Boise after that. Love Boise, but just in terms of path, like that is the easiest. So that goes back to the whole discussion about the love the auto bids, not the auto buys. So,
well, that even goes back to just with the award manual the week before. Excuse me, when he's talking about those that are not playing cannot move up. So, he legitimately said Ohio State cannot pass Notre Dame. Notre Dame can't drop below Ohio State. He made that comment, which goes back to how the hell is Penn State and Ohio State are both 2 loss teams. They're both 2 loss teams, and you got your head-to-head, but Ohio State's got to play Tennessee. Ohio State's like, are you kidding me? It's like we beat these tools. Obviously, they lost to Michigan in that classic game. But there's Penn State that loses a head-to-head, and Penn State could literally blindfold themselves, and they're going into the Final Four.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah,
they're a solid team. They got good athletes. They're really good athletes, but think of them as in the Final Four is just wild.
Okay,
that's what's going to happen.
Tim, one of the things I wanted to pop up on the screen, and I just remembered another one, I'm going to save it for the end, was Ari Wasserman's morning of bracketology, or maybe it was the night. It was the morning of. He put Ohio State in the 5, Notre Dame in the 6,
yes,
Texas 7, Tennessee 8, Penn State 9.
Yep.
To which I responded, if the committee does this after saying it wouldn't move a team who didn't play in the conference champ weekend above or over another team who didn't play, that would be something else. Again, they said they weren't going to do what Ari posted. And I sent that, and I'm like, what the hell are these guys thinking? And then their logic to that was, I don't trust what the committee says. They have said a lot of things, and then they just do the opposite. And I was like, all right, fair enough. But I do think that they made the right decision. Or at least I don't think it's a blatant wrong decision, because if you're Ohio State, how are you really going to be that upset when you just lost to Michigan? Pipe down over there. You just lost to a terrible Michigan team at home. I don't want to hear you're complaining. And if NIU, this is kind of my opinion on this, and I want to say the committee agrees, is that if they might have counted NIU loss for Notre Dame as a loss and a half, or a loss and a quarter, right?
Definitely did.
Then they viewed the losses for Texas and Penn State as a half of a loss or a quarter of a loss. And Tim, that's why the 5, 6, 7 is what it is. And we talked about the scenarios for Notre Dame, right? We love talking bracketology each week. And the worst case scenario for Notre Dame seeding was what we saw.
Yes.
It was, Texas lose a tight one and Penn State lose a tight one, and Notre Dame could be in the 7. But we thought for a while that Notre Dame was going to be in the 8. Probably some. Ohio State. If Ohio State doesn't crap the bed against Michigan, Notre Dame's in the 8, no doubt about it. Your prediction would have been right.
Until Ward Manuel said that, where he said Notre Dame, Ohio State.
You still thought it?
Had he not said that, I thought after that, because they could say, all right, man, you lost to Michigan, you lost to NIU. Our second loss is to a 13-0 Big Ten champ by 1 point. Whatever they lost to Oregon, right? Last play, the guy's quarterback slid, second too late. So as life goes. I always thought Ohio State was going to jump them until he said that. And I was like, oh crap! So Notre Dame is locked in into the 7 if
The
Texas
7 at lowest, right?
exactly. I fully I totally thought freaking Notre Dame was going to pass Penn State. I thought they would size them up at the end, but when they got it within one score and it ended in a 1-score game, yeah, that committee was not going to punish. They were not going to punish champ. It goes back to my point. They weren't going to hurt championship teams. And in reality, why should they? When they're playing a 13th game. I mean, seriously, if they're playing a 13th game, these are the rules, especially as a Notre Dame fan. Okay, we have our 12. This is where we're going to be. So some people were like, well, they should do this or that or that. Hey, how do you punish them, especially if you lose by 1 score to an undefeated team? I'm not, believe me, I think as a Notre Dame fan, they should be ahead of Penn State. But if you put yourself in that committee,
based on the eye test, right? You think Notre Dame's the better team.
Exactly. But the committee's like, hey, they played an extra game with toe-to-toe. We're not gonna piss away these conference championship games unless you're Wisconsin when they got boat raced by Ohio State by 50 points. Then you could justify moving things around.
Folks, let's talk about Barb Stevenson art. If you're that Fighting Irish fan and you're looking to purchase something for yourself or maybe a loved one in your life, this is the perfect gift. Barb Stevenson art is the premier destination for spectacular pen and ink, limited edition prints of the University of Notre Dame. Each scene is created from a series of photos personally taken by Barb of the most iconic buildings on campus, and what makes every print a unique and one-of-a-kind piece of art is the hand-painted metallic gold accents that Barb adds to each and every one. Let's talk about some of the specific prints in this ad read here in a second, but make sure you go to barbstevenson.com to check out so much more. You can discover the perfect piece that resonates with your love for Notre Dame. So we have 4 here to discuss. First, we have, this one is just tremendous. The iconic trio that has 3 of the most beloved buildings on campus. You have the Basilica, the Golden Dome, and Touchdown Jesus. You also have the Grotto Spiritual Moments, which it depicts one of the most quiet and serene places on campus, a very popular spot for prayer and meditation, as well as weddings, proposals, and visitors on football weekends. You have the, of course, iconic Notre Dame Golden Dome, a world-famous landmark and the most recognizable symbol of the university. And then another look at it, the shining view of the Golden Dome, another beautiful shots, again, of this iconic landmark. So to purchase or view any additional Barb Stevenson art, make sure you go to her website, barbstevenson.com. That's BARBSTEPHENSON.com, or give her a call, 574-210-8388. Order now and receive free shipping anywhere in the continental United States, barbstevenson.com. Appreciate you, Barb, for sponsoring this week's show. I feel like one other thing on the playoff before we bounce to another topic and then come back.
I mean, just what did you and I talk about for 6 straight weeks? Friday night.
Yeah,
8 p.m. ESPN. Now we got game day. Yeah, what is that? A shirt? Hell yeah, shirt within a shirt. It's hype 24/7 there, Mark. No doubt about it. But college game day, the Friday night game, the first ever expanded playoff in the history of college football is coming to South Bend, Indiana. Come on, man. These TV guys were like, yeah, this is happening. So, they're hyped up beyond belief. Game day's coming. So
it's sick.
It's awesome. And they're going to the Buckeye game the next game.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? Go from South Bend to Columbus for the crew.
I mean, obviously, we got Notre Dame. We're excited as hell, but the Saturday games are,
that is on the 21st. Well, really, the 20th. It is. My wife was like, "Hey, I have an appointment. Should I do this next Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday?" And I said, "Wednesday." Do not touch Friday. I don't know what I'm doing Friday, but that's gonna. I don't know. I feel like Friday is just like leading up to the game, like as an objective reporter over here, I'm like, I want to.
No, I'm
Don't
not.
talk to me. Don't call. I'm gonna watch film. Like, just get prepped. I guess I don't know. 1 second, Tim.
No, it's all good. No, but I was just excited. I was glad they announced those right away. I know I said I wanted the 8. I wanted the 8 because I wanted Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl in the next game. That was always my wish, was to play Oregon or Ohio State. I wanted to play Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. That would have been the ultimate.
You know what my wish was?
But you know what? They're gonna get the sugar against Georgia, so let's just don't even worry about that. Let's don't even talk about that right now. So.
You know what mine was? It was for Notre Dame to get Bama or Tennessee or Ohio State, like a marquee team in that first round. And Indiana's not doing that for me, but it's okay. You beat Indiana, then you got Georgia, and it doesn't get more like than Georgia. But you better beat Indiana. If you don't beat Indiana, we're never going to hear the end of it. And we'll talk more about that matchup later in the show. We just really have so much to talk about. Let's go through a few super chats. Did y'all hear Franklin taking shots at Notre Dame for not being in a conference? Yeah, he did say.
He just said everyone should be in a conference in this tournament. And I like to just tell people, as we say, it's Notre Dame is being looked at as an at-large team. Easy as that. They're in a pool of at-larges. They only qualify if they qualify by winning enough games. So, Coach Franklin, if Notre Dame's 9-3, don't worry. They're going to the Pop-Tarts Bowl. If they're 10-2 this year, they're going to the Citrus Bowl. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think
if they're an at-large team. I think people freak out, and I've heard people just real quick saying, "Oh, you have to put yourself up to be available for a conference championship game." What the hell does that mean? It's like there's at-large bursts. There are 4 teams in this tournament that did not play in a conference title game. You have to fill spots. So it's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. He was just yapping. I think he was just yapping.
He hates Notre Dame. Penn State hates Notre Dame. It is what it is. It's long tradition.
Beaston, appreciate the $5. Patrick says, "Go Irish." Notre Dame hits a 52-yard field goal. Gray and Watts get pick sixes, and Leonard goes 12 or 12. I know I am dreaming, and I am loving it.
52-yard field goal. Is that adding them up over 5 of them? Hey, I'll take it. I'm not jinxing anything. Gray and Watts, get one at SC, get one in Indiana. Oh, I like it.
Patrick James, appreciate the 5. And Patrick James with 10, he says, "My other dream has the SEC teams losing in their first games, just to watch the total meltdown on all the experts." Interesting. So you have Texas in the first round and Tennessee, and that's your only 2 in the first round. Tim, in our show next week, we're going to do.
The SEC lost. They would just lose.
Oh, there's just excuses. It's like, oh, Tennessee shouldn't have been in the 9. They should have been in the 1 or whatever.
I know.
But we're gonna do next week our brackets. Like me and you, we're gonna do a full on like bracket. Like we're gonna pick every single game in order. Like I already filled mine out. We're doing it in an article tomorrow. So for those who read blueandgold.com, I got a spicy upset prediction. I'll just say that.
I'm not touching any of those things, man. I'm like nervous Nelly.
Bullshit.
All it's about is just beating Indiana by 1. Damn it.
You're doing a full on prediction thing just like I did, and it's gonna be awesome. And we're gonna show it on the show. It's gonna be great. You're gonna love it. Okay. Let's shift to talking about the Echoes Award winners. This is Notre Dame's banquet, and I can't remember, Tim, if these are player voted or coach or what. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know if you know. Riley Leonard, MVP. Jack Kaiser, Man of the Year. Xavier Watts, Defensive Player of the Year. Jeremiah Love, Offensive Player of the Year. Bryce Young, Special Teams Player of the Year. You got to be a Wagner, the Scholarship Athlete Award. Riley Mills, the Iron Cross Award. It's called the Iron Cross Award. We're not giving it to Howard Cross. Come on. Kidding. Max Hurlman, Walk-On of the Year. Very well deserved. Justin Fisher, Scout Team Player of the Year on offense, and Sean Savlano, Jr., Defensive Scout Team Player of the Year. So, thoughts on this? Anything that you love? Anything you don't like? Anything that stayed out to you on this?
No, I mean, well, my first thing, obviously, being a lineman dork that I am, is Notre Dame's Offensive Lineman of the Year has been called the Moose Krause Award for decades upon decades. I'm like, where the hell's the Lineman of the Year award? So that was the first thing I looked at. So I'm curious to see if they did a Moose Krause Award, since they've only been doing it for 50 years. But I was a little interested in that. Jack Kaiser, by the way, he was a finalist for the Campbell Award, which is basically the academic Heisman, which is interesting because Milroe won it. Who would have thought an Alabama football player is winning the academic Heisman? Go figure, correct?
Good for him.
Yeah, I found that interesting. But hey, he must be taking a lot of hard classes in Tuscaloosa, so good for him. But Riley Leonard, I was big fan of that. I felt he did it because if he's not the quarterback, Notre Dame's not playing next Friday. So I truly believe that. He had a hell of a year. I think with his running and his ability, teams had to account for him. It opened up lanes for Love and Price, and you could totally watch it in the film. So back-to-back years, Mike, transfer quarterback, team MVP. And then you even go back to Jack Cohn, 11-1. So for all the
Did he get the MVP?
Hell no, they had Kyron Williams. Come on, Kyron Williams is the team MVP. Isn't he an NFL All-Pro, by the way? So for the fans that are only wanting to play my homegrown quarterback, 11-1 Jack Cohn, 9-win Sam Hartman, team MVP, 11-win Riley Leonard, team MVP. They're not doing.
So do you want Notre Dame to go to the portal again for this season? In 2025?
Hey, if it's going to lock you in, but the ability to win 10, 11 games, why wouldn't you do it? There's a lot of damn good quarterbacks in that portal. Are you telling me Angeli, Carr, Minchie are gonna get you 11 wins? What maybe these portal quarterbacks might?
Yeah,
but that's a discussion, Mike. After Indiana, Georgia, Penn State, I'm picking Texas, so we're going all the way to the finals. So that's a long way away. See, everyone's like, no portal this year. Why? Who gives a damn? If the guy helps you win games, who cares?
I just don't know if this. We all have egos, differing level of egos, and I'll tell you that college football coaches at the Notre Dame level have big egos, and I don't know if they can do. I mean, most of the or all of the staff from Jack Cohn's year is gone, but at least on offense, right? But I don't know if this administration can do 4 out of 5 years going to the portal for quarterback. Like that just is.
I wonder if Dan Lanning will do that. Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, homegrown only, right? Is that the rule? I mean, look at the chat. No portal, no portal. Mike, I'm gonna do the point. I don't give a damn. Whoever's gonna make you and let you help you win games. I don't need an 8-4, 9-3 learning curve season. I think we've had enough of those for the last 35 years. We've had a lot of learning curves. Can we start freaking winning? No one wants who's in favor of a learning curve?
Well,
can we buy those years, please? And win games.
Yeah, if you can go get Dylan Gabriel, sure, but I don't know.
Notre Dame can't. You're telling me Notre Dame can't get someone like that?
I'm not saying they can't. I'm saying they're. I don't think they will or could.
Exactly. So, but no. These are all talks we're gonna have. We're gonna have a lot of talks about this 2025 learning curve in year 4, but we'll dive into that down the road.
Folks, if you have a lot of cash, you know what? Let's search Notre Dame on Game Time because it is quite the expensive ticket, and Game Time does sponsor this show. So it is a pretty penny that you are going to be spending if you are in the secondhand ticket market to try to get to Notre Dame Stadium. Tim, you got $3,900 laying around to be on the home side right at the 50-yard line. You got that kind of cash?
All I know is I heard some of the nosebleeds, the seats way at top are like $1,200.
You are paying a pretty pretty penny, folks, to try to get in to. I mean, this is like national championship, like a Notre Dame home playoff game is the most difficult ticket to get right now, and it really is wild. But if you are, I mean, we can at least give you a little bit of savings if you're going to go through Game Time and you are a Blue and Gold podcast YouTube show viewer. Or listener. Game Time is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater near you with fantastic last-minute ticket deals, so you can just get relaxed and hyped for that fun that you're going to have. And Game Times has all sorts of cool features. It'll filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. So you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You have the all-in pricing. When you toggle this on, it features the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. You can check out your panoramic view from your seat in the app before you purchase. You'll get the lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference, folks. So take the guesswork out of buying concert or any of these kind of tickets, any of these event tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use the code ON3. That's on3 for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code ON3 for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Yeah, Notre Dame's guys, it's sold out. If you're buying it from Notre Dame, right? But this is from people who are reselling their tickets. So there you go.
That's insane. Some of the prices and then the other games like Texas, or who was it? Penn State didn't even sell out their student section. I saw, yes, they didn't sell out their student section. So who's ever buying those tickets up? And then real quick, I saw like Texas Clemson's only $150, $175 a ticket. And Notre Dame, the cheapest Notre Dame ticket on this market is $1,200. It's awesome.
Vinny's dad says, do you guys think this team goes 12-0 without a loss to NIU, or did that loss galvanize this team and create a sense of urgency for 10 straight games?
Oh boy, the chicken or the egg, huh? It's
give me think about it. Give me a hell yes. You know why, Tim? We've talked about this all year. Marcus Freeman became a different man after that NIU game. Like there was, I really do believe that, and from what you see in the press conferences and what I've hear, as an insider behind the scenes, a shift after NIU. So I'm going to say, yes, they have been playing with their backs against the wall, and every game's been a playoff game since NIU. And I think that this has given the team a lot of extra focus and juice. I do.
No, I agree with that. Yes. Yeah. Every game is a playoff game when you lose your second game of the season. And the goals for this team were to go to the damn playoffs. So, yes. I mean, they could not have, you can't lose to, what did NIU finish? 7-5. You can't lose to a 7-5 NIU team and go to the playoffs with another loss. So yes, that galvanized the team and send them hyped up on belief because every game mattered. And the whole Freeman thing is, I don't buy it changed him because he had tons of emotion. Obviously, we saw in the A&M game. I think, if anything, I wouldn't be surprised if the Clemson game changed them last year, how pissed off they wasted that game, wasted that opportunity with Sweet Dabo and the guys having like 10, 12 guys out, and they pissed that game away is what happened. One of the worst games, Parker. I mean, that game was brutal, throwing the ball like they did. But the tone, if anything, this is what I'm thinking as a coach. As someone who's lost an early season game, you're like, how the hell did we lose that? I think that just remotivated the energy on some of the, maybe the early season mistakes. And it just refocused him. No doubt about it, refocused him. Had they beaten NIU, this whole damn team was more than ready to go undefeated. So if they beat NIU, yeah, they're 12-0 and in the 5 seed hosting Clemson. This
maybe.
And if they just 2 seconds off that, going back to August, we talked about how old this team was. This is a lot of old guys. The defense is a bunch of 32-year-olds, old dudes everywhere. They all
older than me.
Yeah, exactly. They all came back. Look at all these gray beards on that D. So there's something in that room that was not going to let Notre Dame lose, and obviously they overlooked NIU. I mean, it just a little too cocky, a little too comfortable playing a MAC team, that type of thing. It was the ultimate hangover. And this is the last point on this is just go look at every single team that lost. Every Alabama, Ole Miss, Kentucky, on and on and on. Ohio State, the end of the year, they're 3-touchdown favorites. The amount of teams losing favored by 15 or more points this year is unlike anything I've seen. So that would be my take. But definitely it motivated the hell out of these guys. And it changed Freeman, because Freeman in year 3 doesn't want to be that 9-3 coach. I bet you that's what really galvanized him. Like, are you kidding me? We can't do this again. And he just pounded that into those kids' heads.
All right, so let's talk about Indiana, Notre Dame's opponents in the 7-10 game. They start the season by beating FIU and Western Illinois. Okay, solid blowout road win at UCLA. You beat Charlotte. You beat Maryland by a couple touchdowns. At Northwestern, you win by 17, beat up on Nebraska, and then one of their 2 biggest wins of the year, Washington, which I don't know how Washington finished the season, but
6-6.
Okay, so never mind. At Michigan State, how did they do? Michigan State
They're
went
one of the worst.
5-7. So Michigan. So they beat Michigan by 5 is their best. A bad Michigan team, right? They were 7-5.
7-5.
That's their marquee win, and then you lose at Ohio State by what is that, 23 points, and now they shot themselves in the foot for sure to start that game, and that was going to be tough to overcome, but still get beat up pretty good by Ohio State, and then they blew out Purdue at home. The people who are like using the head-to-head between Purdue and Iowa and Indiana, and then Notre Dame and Purdue. I mean, guys, what are we doing here? Like,
their coach was fired, and come on, Purdue guys. Hell, they already got 20 in the portal, so those guys didn't want to play that game. They could care less about that game. Yeah, 66-0 or 66-7, Mike.
I mean, what are we doing? They're like, oh man, Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame got it on the road. I'm like, guys, come on. Onyx just said in the chat.
Game. Exactly.
Onyx just said Michigan's the only team Indiana beat above 500 at 7-5. So I'm a big resume guy. Like I love just like looking at this stuff. But if you're a football coach like Tim Hyde, you're watching half of their schedule. So what have you seen? Like what do they do well? What impresses you? What anything that scares you? Anything that you're like, oh man, we're gonna have no problem. And then we'll talk about this and then get to Andrew Gilmore super chat.
No, I got you. But well, number one, it's freaking Indiana, one of the worst programs in the history of college football. So you want to go from 3 wins to 11. So that tells you right away that their head coach could coach. I know he likes to say Google me. Hell yeah, Google him. The guy, all he's done is win. The guy is exactly what he says. He's a freaking winner. He is a damn good football coach. So he brought in 31 transfers. Only Colorado, Louisville brought in more. So he brought in a whole new culture, a whole new attitude. And they went out there and just beat the living hell out of teams. Now, I know they played, Sisters of the Poor, but they still won by just crazy numbers. And this is what I'm saying. It's Indiana. So it's not like Alabama going out there and doing that in 2020 or whatever. It's impressive as could be. Their schedule is atrocious. They, yeah, exactly. Now, Michigan and Ohio State are the only teams above 500. And Northwestern, check this out. This is a couple things. You brought up Washington. Washington and Indiana, that score was 17-14 in the third quarter. Northwestern, who went 4-8, Mike, it was after 3 quarters, start the fourth quarter is 28-21. So they're going back and forth with Northwestern. Michigan, I'll tell you what, man, I watched that game from start to finish, play after play, rewinded it a bunch just to see who's making plays for Indiana. If Michigan had a quarterback who could just throw the ball backwards, let's say, was successful, they win that game by 10-plus points. They had dudes open all over. That quarterback, Warren was atrocious. they beat Indiana walking away that game, and they just pissed that thing away. So, and
Okay,
then
so
Ohio State's just, I got 1,000 athletes, you don't, and they just
yeah, and they had the botch punt and stuff like
got the
because
box punt and all that
Indiana
stuff.
played them tight early.
Lastly, Indiana to me, the Notre Dame fans will like this. They are literally, they look like a really good Narduzzi Pitt team and a Mark D'Antonio Michigan State team. And I say that they are going to play a down 4, straight 4-man pass rush, get after your butt, and they are going to, and they're physical as hell all over the place.
Yeah.
When I started really watching them, I was like, oh my God, it's just like Mark D'Antonio at Michigan State. Physical, really confident, play above their pay grade, and play hard as hell, snap after snap. And you see that offensively, they remind me of the 21 Notre Dame team with Jack Cohn. A lot of RPOs. This quarterback, Rourke, was second team all Big Ten. He's legit. He will hold that ball, pull it out, boom, zip it on the outs and the flats, the slants and things of that nature. Notre Dame, obviously, we talk about their great running backs, Price and Love. They got 1,600 yards combined. The 2 Indiana running backs have 1,500 yards combined. So you can see how they're neck and neck with Love and Price there for yards. So impressive in that nature. They didn't, we talked about their schedule a million times. I'm just hung up on, it's just Indiana. They just beat the hell out of people.
Okay, there's two things. I feel like you're kind of bouncing between two general thoughts. Is one, give Indiana their flowers for the context of their season. It's Indiana. Okay, great.
Yes.
But let's now compare them to Notre Dame. Notre Dame should win this game by 2 touchdowns. Right? Like Notre Dame, like where is Indiana better on paper than Notre Dame?
Defensive line, they got their defensive end is an All-American. He's a freakazoid out of JMU. He's just like the A&M and the Gelati from Louisville. He's just as good as those guys pass rushing. He's a freak. This dude's a dude. They got a 300-pound nose guard that was just, bam, he's just going to sit in there, a middle linebacker who would knock the living hell out of you. He's good as hell. They got a corner who's going to play in the NFL. Notre Dame's wide receivers, that guy's going to kick ass in this game. So they got to go opposite him a ton, I believe. But offensively, they're just efficient, man.
Yeah, their quarterback
is good.
Yeah,
he's good. I mean, when you look at, Notre Dame got plenty good quarterbacks this year. The best quarterback they played is the Louisville guy. He's just like Louisville. They don't have the Louisville receivers.
So is Indiana better than Louisville?
Hey, that's a great point. Real quick on Louisville, they dropped them this year. They dropped them. Like when the new AD got hired a year ago, his first mission was to get Indiana wins. So he dropped Louisville. There's some other games in the future he's dropped, and he got some cupcakes because he's like, shit, let's just try and get 6-6 and go to the Liberty Bowl, If the Liberty Bowl's even around anymore. But that was his goal. So that would have been awesome had Louisville and Indiana played. I think Louisville is a much faster football team than Indiana. But Indiana's going to play, old school rock'em sock'em football.
Yeah, and I still think that I wouldn't be shocked if it's like if you think back to Notre Dame A&M, somewhat similar to that in a slugfest, but Notre Dame's able to have more efficiency on offense. I don't see it. I don't see Indiana keeping this game within 10 points. I just personally don't. I think it'll be somewhere between 14 and 21.
My only thing off of that is they are going to obviously just what everyone and their mother does, right? They're going to put 12 guys in the box and they're always going to have one more. They're always going to have one more against the run, which means Riley Leonard needs to hit.
He's going to need to hit passes, and Jay Love is going to need to make guys miss and just be incredible.
Because they're always going to have one more than you can block. That's just their scheme. And they're Mike and Will. They're a 4-2-5. They play true 4 down linemen. They have a Mike and Will. And if Evans or Greathouse or anyone on the slot, they got to kill them over the middle. Because that Mike and Will, they just run downhill. You just do a mini fake, they're blitzing. So you got to hit him from there.
Yeah, you're going to be over aggressive too. Jay Love, his speed, man. You make one guy miss, he could be gone. So I still like Notre Dame. Not an official prediction, something like 24-10 12, 24-13, something like that.
I think they could score. I'm not saying they're going to score 38 points, but hell, if SC could get 35, these guys could put up more, and they're a way more efficient.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
I'm not saying they will get 35.
You said what was the weather? What was the weather? You said it wasn't going to be snowing.
It's going to be mid-20s. It looks like around. I mean, kickoffs
maybe like 28-17, 28-16, something like that.
The key, it's the same thing. Can Notre Dame stop the run? These guys want to run. And then it's always, like I said, Rourke will hold the ball. He reminds me a lot of Hartman at Wake. It's, when I started watching that, because Hartman was really, it's the stuff Parker didn't do with him, for crying out loud. Back shoulder fades, Rourke is going to kill you. If you let him throw back shoulder fades, he's like Hartman at Wake Forest. He's going to hit you on those 20-yarders, man. And his play action, holding the ball, throwing, is just, that's what got people excited with Hartman. And then they comes to Notre Dame, and Parker's like, yeah, let's don't do anything you're good at. So, dumbass. But anyway, so that's who he reminded me watching Rourke, was a lot of Hartman at Wake with his ball skills and the type of throws he does.
Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our channel for more content. If you are listening via podcast, really appreciate if you left us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. Of course, only if you enjoy the show. Let's talk about Homefield. We absolutely love Homefield over here. Notre Dame's in the college football playoff, and you're going to want to load up on new Fighting Irish gear. And hopefully they have some new gear. Like, you got this 1977 championship shirt. Maybe Homefield would roll out like a retro-looking 2024, or would you call it 2025 national? Maybe. Let's Marcus Schumann, the guys need to give Homefield a reason to make a new shirt. That would be absolutely sick. So let's talk about Homefield Apparel, the premium collegiate apparel brand based in Indianapolis. You get the new clothing with a retro look, but no retro tears or smells. And they're always rolling out new stuff, folks. They have the cool, coach's jacket. They have the Notre Dame football box and a platinum box. It's got the campus classic pullover. The hoodies are awesome. Homefield really does not have a shortage of fantastic Notre Dame apparel for you guys to check out. If you have friends that are fans of another school, Homefield has licensed clothing for over 180 colleges. If you're looking to get something in by Christmas, you can ask Homefield what it looks like in terms of where you live and how fast it could get to you. But I bought my father-in-law something a few weeks ago, and it got in, I think, within a week. So check out homefieldapparel.com. Again, they have licensed clothing for over 180 colleges. So get yourself something, and then get something for the loved one in your life. When you use the promo code BGI, that's good for 15% off your first order at Homefield. Now, I do believe just on December 11th at the top of the website, it says get 20% off. I've been getting emails about that from today. So if you're on Homefield on Tuesday, you got 20% off there. If you miss that opportunity, still get 15% off and use the promo code BGI over at homefieldapparel.com. All right, Tim.
I was going to say, before we jump, I wanted to talk one last thing about Indiana. Is obviously Notre Dame's strength is running the ball, right? They're third in the country in yards per attempt rushing. Indiana's number 2 yards per attempt rushing D, but they're number 1 in the country in rushing defense. So, you break down the numbers. You want to know why? Hell, Indiana only played one team in the top 60 in yards per carry. That's Ohio State. Michigan is in the 60s. So that just tells you how many bad, I'm talking atrocious. Nebraska's the 5th best rushing team they played this year, Mike. They're 98th in the country. That's bad. That's bad. So they played a lot of bad offensive rushing teams. Notre Dame's D, I know we always talk about they got to stop the run. I found this fascinating. Notre Dame faced 7 of the top 43 rushing offenses in the country. So pretty damn impressive when you look at their physicality and where they're at defensively. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Indiana has not faced, obviously, an O-line and a group of running backs like this. So that's going to be, going back to your point, if this is a 2-touchdown game, it's the O-line, man, just knocking the hell out of people.
Thoughts on Bill Belichick to North Carolina? So they went from a 73-year-old head coach to 72.
I'll tell you, it's it. I mean, this kind of broke like on Friday that he was interviewing and things of that nature. So it's fascinating. I mean, obviously the guy wants to coach. I'm not a fan of it because I absolutely love him on all his shows with Pat McAfee. He's got
to come off of it, yeah.
Yeah, his Manning cast. He does the first half every Monday night is just awesome. Inside his X and O breakdowns on Inside the NFL have just been awesome this year. Just to watch those little segments breaking it down. I mean, he's a big brain when it comes to football, so it's going to be fascinating. My first thought is who's he going to bring? Because obviously he's going to bring out a bunch of his NFL buddies that are just floating around, maybe not have a job. Patricia will probably be his DC. And then, guys of that nature. So, North Carolina people, you want to talk about Oregon and money and Nike money. North Carolina gets a lot of Nike money. They're Nike everywhere. So, how are they going to push this thing? It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. And Notre Dame plays them in 26. So we'll see what his team looks like.
2 thoughts. One, he better hire an incredible general manager and recruiting office. Like they have, because if he is hiring a bunch of NFL guys and it's just like the staff that doesn't have that much college experience, and Bill Belichick has obviously an NFL background and he's 73 or 72 years old, good luck. Good luck to you.
Yeah, I don't think me personally, Bill Belichick, he acts like he's 48 years old. So I think age is a thing. And
he's dating a 24-year-old.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. But anyway, yeah, they're going to have money. Are you kidding me? People are going to be dying to get Bill Belichick on the resume. All these NIL egghead analyst guys leaving Harvard, and dude, he's going to have his pick of the litter.
All right.
People are going to want to be on his staff.
Two other thoughts, because we got to talk about other things.
Sure.
One, does Notre Dame have new competition for all these, former NFL guys' sons? And now they're all going to play for Belichick instead of Freeman? Because Notre Dame's done really well there. Notre Dame's going to have more competition for that. And the other one, did you see who was at least the reported runner-up, Tim?
I have not been on Twitter in a couple hours.
Tommy Rees. Spit that water out.
Good for him. So he interviewed and he finished up there. Good for him. He's getting his name out there. He's going through the process. He's in his early 30s, going up but to be up for an interview like that and go through all that, and Belichick.
Good for him indeed.
Hell yeah, good for him.
Good for him.
He's got Saban on his resume.
From the Reese angle, yes, good. Yes, but from a North Carolina angle, what are we doing? But we don't have time for this. We don't have time for this.
What's that with Belichick? Yeah,
why Reese? Reese. I don't know.
Reese has a resume. Hold on, he's got a resume
of what?
Of what?
Yes.
I'm not even going to get into this with you. Tommy Reese has no resume. Are you freaking serious?
Not for North Carolina head coaching position.
Hold on. First off, North Carolina is like a 20 to 45 top of
you
job.
Just talked about all of their money.
Yeah, they and tons of cash. North Carolina is, to me, as a college football guy, Carolina is a lot like Arizona State is to me. And UCLA. How the hell is UCLA not a top 20 program? Money, obviously, the freaking recruiting base, all that stuff. Terry Donahue had it going for 20 years. But Carolina, Arizona State, UCLA, programs like that, I've never understood how they're just not top 15, 20 every single year. So they just haven't, outside of a couple of years with Mac Brown. So you're saying Reese has no resume, which I think
I didn't say he has. I don't think he has Power 5 at one of the.
Well, what did Dillingham? I mean, seriously, dude, hold on. People just hire young guys all the time. This is college football. The NFL, there's guys in the NFL who are in their 30s getting jobs. It just happens. It's connections. It's all about connections. and Reese has a boatload of connections.
Don't see it. Will not see it. All right.
Of course you won't see it. You've always been. I mean, once again, if you're not a Kelly fan, you're not a Reese fan. If you're not a Reese fan, you're not a Kelly fan. It's the circle.
I'm not
of what it
no. It has nothing to do with that. I think it's more of I am not a fan of Tommy Reese being a head coach at an upper power 4 conference
is.
team.
Why is Marcus Freeman? I mean, seriously, young people get jobs. It just happens. Marcus Freeman had one year as a Power 4 coach, and it was at Notre Dame. Come on.
I liked Freeman for it. I did not. I don't just. All right, let's continue on, Tim.
Freeman's resume before Notre Dame was what? Cincinnati, Purdue, and Kent State. Come on. And, he's the head coach at Notre Dame. He's in year 3, and they're in the playoffs. So there you go.
And Tommy Reese is not Marcus Freeman. So that.
Resume-wise, he's done a hell of a lot more as far as a resume before Freeman did. Dude, he was.
How's he doing?
Obviously, your anti-Reese Kelly bias is showing, so we'll just move on from there.
Okay.
It is what it is. So, hey, if he's number 2, who cares? He didn't get the job. It's going to Belichick. We'll move on from there. But to say Reese has no resume is kind of ridiculous.
Didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I just don't think that he is right now qualified to be the North Carolina head coach. That's what I think. No.
Somebody has to get the job, so.
ESPN broadcasting Indiana versus Notre Dame to open the playoff will be the first time someone besides NBC has broadcast a game from Notre Dame Stadium since 1990. Tweet from Douglas Farmer. Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since Notre Dame has had a non-Saturday game, and then you're going back since before Singer was born that Notre Dame has had a non-NBC broadcast. I don't know.
The first one was Indiana in 91, by the way. I think I read. I think it was 91 with the NBC deal.
That was one that I saw, and I was like, interesting. Yeah, the first time a network, since 1991. Here are this was as of December 8th. Winner of the college football championship. So Texas had the best odds at plus 360, tied with Georgia. Oregon plus 380. This is what, FanDuel, and Ohio State plus 500. Where is Notre Dame? Do you think Notre Dame should be more of a favorite? I mean, their ESPN, the ESPN FBI gives, I think, Notre Dame the second best chance to win the whole thing. I think so.
They're second. I think they're second in Power Index.
Yeah,
in their latest one at the end of the season. Should they be? I mean, once again, it's hard to do, betting odds when Notre Dame hasn't done anything in so damn long. So how do you put them as one of the favorites up there, especially with Georgia in your way? That's going to be the big roadblock. Even though I think early lines is this Notre Dame favored, which is I saw that and I was like, really? But that's got to be
all right. Yeah, so that's where I'm going next. So a look ahead line, Notre Dame would be a 2.5 point favorite against Georgia. What do you think about this?
I'm not touching that. Hey, pick them. Just hey, Notre Dame win by 1. How's that? Hey, it's still Georgia. It'll be in the Sugar Bowl. You could say what you want about Georgia. They will have a month to prepare. Kickoff's 9 p.m. on January 1st. So they're going to have a long, long time to prepare, get their backup quarterback ready. Obviously, Carson Beck will be out. Their defensive line is freakish. Texas is – I found this stat today looking up some Georgia numbers, just looking ahead. Georgia played Texas twice this year. Georgia's D-line had 15 sacks and 25 tackles for losses and held Texas to 1.1 yards per rush in 2 games. So you say what you want with Georgia. When they get up, they get up. And I think they'll have a huge – they'll be focused. They had a little bit of roller coaster this season at times, no doubt about it. They're not the same team the last couple of years that won 50 games in a row. That's not Alabama, that type of stat. It's to me, man, it's still Georgia. They got dudes all over the place.
Do you like Gunnar Stockton?
I haven't watched him. I know he had an efficient game against Texas. It was like 12 to 16, 13, 15, something like that. So efficient. He's solid. He's been in the system. He's one of those guys, which means their defense will play with their, hair on fire. They're going to turn it up even more, and they're going to run the ball. They got a massive offensive line. Ratledge is the best guard in the country. He's a stud. Their right guard is just a monster. And they got a couple running backs that are obviously they were going to run the ball. So that game, but hey, they beat Indiana, but Georgia, Notre Dame 2.5-point favorite. I saw that, and I'm just like, wow, they're really going all in on Notre Dame.
All right, we got one more thing.
It's the Beck injury, so that's I think what they're looking at.
All right, we got one more thing, and all right, this is a tweet from Blue and Gold. Blue and Gold made an appearance on the Peacock documentary. Let's just take a listen for those listening to the podcast and for those watching on YouTube.
Next week is going to be a Super Bowl type of a game for Notre Dame.
It's a ranked opponent. It's an undefeated opponent. It's an opponent that beat Notre Dame last season.
Okay, so you get Tim Hyde. I say yeah. You hear me say yeah. It's the most legendary yeah of all time, and then Tyler Horka. All right, so
Horka.
Tim.
You got double H going in there. Hyde and Horka. I love it.
What about my yeah?
I didn't hear it. I'm going to have to replay that thing, but that's okay. I'm joking, Mike. I get it.
Listen. Okay. So I didn't tell you this, Tim. And I'm telling you this now for the first time in front of 500 people. Okay.
You said you were going to hold out.
I have a secret for you. I get an email from NBC, someone at NBC. And they say, hey, we want to use a soundbite of yours for the documentary. And are you interested? And I said, we'll send you over a DocuSign or whatever. And I say, hell yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I just said, can you send me the soundbite? Because I'm thinking to myself,
what did we say?
After NIU? What did we say? Was it after NIU? Like, what the hell did I say? She says, no problem. Here's the soundbite. So I listened to the soundbite, and it's all Tim Hyde, and it's just me saying, yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, there's two options here. Either one, they also sent this to Tim Hyde, or they just sent it to me, somehow thinking I'm Tim Hyde. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to assume that it's the former, and that I'm not committing fraud here, or whatever this would be. So I signed for myself, and I guess apparently you, Tim. Because I didn't want to tell you about it. I wanted you to find out like this, that you made a lifelong Notre Dame fan, made the Notre Dame Peacock documentary.
Yeah, and I haven't watched it. I'm waiting for them all to go so I can just binge one weekend and eat a ton of popcorn. And
but you have to.
No, but that's awesome, man. That we made that and got Tyler in there, so that's pretty cool. Especially the Louisville game. How important that thing was after the NIU.
It was the Super Bowl.
Hell yeah!
You have. I'm telling you. If you text me before I think it was in the 4th episode, you have to text me, and someone messaged me the timestamp, and or Mark with glasses knows, he sent me that video. We tweeted that. So Mark, you'll have to let me know the timestamp, because Tim, when you'll have to pause it like a minute before that, get the wife together, get the kids together, and you guys have to watch that, and then see if they have any reaction to hearing, their dad's voice
on the documentary. Yeah. Hey, that's Dad. Hey, that's Dad. Well, that's why they always call this our TV show. Oh, Dad's going to Grandma's boat, go do his show. They call this the show, by the way. I love it. Dad's going to go do the show.
All right. So that's going to do it for this show. Upcoming programming, recruiting show Friday this week. And then next week, Tim.
Game week, man. Game week.
So we'll do
game week, playoff game week. Seriously, man. Right there. If you're going to win a national championship, damn it, Notre Dame, year 3, Freeman, break the curse, right? No rookie head coach has won one since some guy named Newt Rockney. So go break the damn thing, right? Just shatter it, and let's go do this damn thing, all right?
So Tim and I will do bracket predictions. We'll really dive into a preview for the game and react to anything else going on in the world of Notre Dame football. But like with recruiting or anything else that could be going on, we haven't talked transfer portal. I'm sure we'll talk about that next week in terms of at least the lack of portal news and why that is.
Not in the SEC. Well over 100 players, Mike, are already in that portal, just running around, chewing each other up. Nothing better. I love it.
Yeah, and you talk about that all the time. They're just it's like they're cannibalizing, or is that the right? Yeah,
they are going to cannibalize.
So yeah, so then we'll be live next Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. Normal thing. Game week. We'll break down some more. I've only watched a little bit of Ohio State, so I'll watch a bunch of the Ohio State game. And, we'll dive into a little bit more Indiana. And
we might need to sneak in an extra show. I'll see if I can get the thumbs up. Me, you, and Goolsby again. Maybe like next Thursday night or something. And so basically, we're going balls to the wall next week. YouTube shows or videos every single day. Like, whether it's these live shows or the update shows with Darren Pritchett and Horka and myself. Like, we're going to be doing a lot of that. Hey, how about this? Media is going to get to watch a little bit of practice on one morning next week.
I like that.
I can't say anything further, but so we'll get a practice kind of update video, which will be neat. So we'll have you locked in at this Blue and Gold YouTube channel. Please hit the thumbs up on this video if you've not done so yet. Subscribe, of course, for more content. Appreciate you all listening to this on the podcast, and head over to blueandgold.com for much more Notre Dame football and recruiting coverage. Thank you guys for making us part of your day. We will catch you next time.